The soft hum of the city settled outside, a familiar comfort that masked the storm brewing within Alexander Hayes's heart. He had always been a man of discipline and routine, a self-made millionaire whose days were dictated by meetings, contracts, and deadlines. But today, something felt off. Something deep in his chest whispered uneasily as he cut through the last few blocks to his sprawling suburban home. He arrived earlier than usual, having finished a deal ahead of schedule. The driveway, usually pristine, appeared strangely empty. His instincts prickled, and as he inserted the key into the door, he froze. A faint sound, stifled, almost like a whimper, reached his ears from upstairs. Alexander's heartbeat accelerated. Not tonight, he thought. His daughter, Lily, only 8 years old, was supposed to be upstairs finishing her homework, perhaps humming softly to herself as she often did. But the sound he heard now was different. It carried fear. He rushed up the staircase 2 steps at a time, his mind clouded with an urgent panic he had never known before. When he reached the hallway, his eyes landed on a scene that made his blood run cold. The woman he had trusted to care for his daughter, the woman who had entered his life after Lily's mother had passed, was standing over Lily with a raised hand. The look in her eyes was not of discipline or concern. It was cold, sharp, almost cruel. "Lily, stop crying," she barked, her voice slicing through the air. Alexander didn't think. He moved faster than he ever had, his legs carrying him forward as if propelled by pure adrenaline. "Get away from her," he shouted, his voice resonating through the hall. The woman froze, her hand midair, as though she hadn't expected him to be home. For a brief moment, the world seemed suspended, a quiet before the inevitable storm. Then, almost instinctively, Alexander scooped Lily into his arms. Her small body shook with sobs, clinging to him as though he was the only safe place left in existence. "What's going on?" he demanded, his voice a mixture of fury and disbelief. The woman opened her mouth but quickly shut it again. She was caught. Alexander could see it in her eyes, the guilt, the fear, the sudden awareness that her control had crumbled. But Alexander didn't want explanations just yet. Right now, all that mattered was Lily's safety. He carried her down the stairs and into the living room, holding her tight. "You're safe now, baby," he whispered, brushing her hair back from her tear-streaked face. "I won't let anyone hurt you." Lily clung to him, her small hands gripping his shirt. "Daddy, she was mean to me," she stammered, her voice trembling. "I didn't want her to." Alexander felt a surge of protective rage but also an unexpected wave of clarity. This was a moment where he had to act, not just as a father but as a man who understood that wealth and power meant nothing if they could not protect the ones you love. The confrontation that followed was tense and difficult. Alexander, though furious, knew that anger alone would not solve anything. He calmly but firmly told the woman that she would no longer be allowed in the house, that Lily's safety and well-being came first, and that legal action would follow if necessary. She protested, but he remained unwavering. For the first time, Alexander realized that strength wasn't measured by money or influence. It was measured by the courage to stand up for what was right. Once she left, Lily nestled into his chest, exhausted but finally feeling safe. Alexander sat down with her on the couch, holding her as she slowly stopped crying. "Daddy, why didn't you come home earlier?" she asked, her voice small. "I wish I could have been here sooner, sweetheart," he replied softly. "But I promise, I'll always be here to protect you from now on. Always." In the days that followed, Alexander took steps he had never imagined he'd need to take. He ensured that Lily's environment was completely safe, hiring a nanny he personally vetted, someone with a gentle heart and genuine kindness. He spent more time with her than ever before, realizing that wealth had its value, but moments of presence, love, and attention were priceless. What surprised him most was the transformation in himself. Seeing Lily's innocent trust and the fear she had endured awakened something profound in him, a compassion and patience that extended beyond anger. He realized that his life had been focused on achievements and accolades, but this moment, this tiny hand in his, was the true measure of success. Weeks later, Lily was laughing again, her bright eyes filled with life. One evening, as they sat in the garden, Alexander reflected on the shock, the fear, and the relief of that night. He had saved her, yes, but in doing so, he had also saved himself, from indifference, from neglect, from the illusions of a life measured only in numbers. "You know, Daddy," Lily said, leaning against him, "I feel safe when you're here. I love you." Alexander hugged her tighter, feeling a lump in his throat. And I love you more than anything in this world, Lily. More than all the money, more than everything. You are my heart. That night, as he watched her sleep peacefully, Alexander understood a truth that no boardroom or bank balance could ever teach. The power of love, courage, and human connection far outweighs anything wealth can buy. And in saving his daughter, he had found a new purpose, a life dedicated not just to success, but to the boundless, irreplaceable joy of protecting and cherishing the ones we love most.